Good morning to you, our audience. Ted and Ed TV channel welcome each of you to our weekly Saturday broadcast where we give insightful views on economic, political, world, and environmental issues concerning how money connects those matters. Our hosts, Mr. Ted Harvey Sr. and Mr. Edward Bishop III, are now taking each of you into our world of money and its value, along with the evils that come from the greed of hoarding financial power. He that controls the gold controls the important decisions in this world.
Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Good morning, Ted, and how are you doing? I
Doing wonderful.
am doing great this Saturday morning. I see we got to come on live here a little bit late, but we're here, and we want our audience to know that we have a huge agenda that we want to talk about, which is probably going to take up more than an hour, because we want our audience to know that we usually start out in the morning and put our this stuff all together for our broadcast and stuff each Saturday, and the reason why we're late because we've been talking so much about the agendas going on, because there's a lot of things that are happening out there, people.
So many things.
Yeah, and then it's affecting your bottom line money in your pockets.
Oh yeah. And one of the first things, we want to welcome all our audience and people that listen to us live, and those are later on down the road on tape. But the one thing that we want to, there's so many things on our agenda. We're just gonna go just hit it and hit it hard.
Hit it,
because one of the big in the big news thing right now is taxes. Passing that tax bill.
Ted, that tax cut. This is a dirty word and everything for us, because our Republican friends and stuff there in Congress and everything in the Senate, they have now taken over their portion and stuff of this tax cut, and it is a horrible disaster and stuff for that 47% of us who are out there. Why they feel that it's okay to put our country in debt, and they're talking about the debt rising up to at least 1.4 trillion, and it could go higher than that. And to give corporations and billionaires a tax cut, and they really don't even need it. But I see we have a lot of Democrats out there, a lot of progressive organizations out there who are hitting up all of us with emails looking for money and this stuff to help fight this thing. And there are a lot of people out there who are very afraid of what's getting ready to happen. But I want to caution everyone and stuff out there that it's only passed the House. Now the Senate has brought their portion and stuff on. Now it is not going to reach our president's desk yet, because both of those houses of Congress have to come together and find out and get a bill that is similar to each one of their sides, and they're going to have to agree upon this. Well, when this happens, you're going to have a lot of infighting and stuff between the House and the Senate and stuff, trying to reconcile that tax cut bill. I believe that there's going to be a tax cut, but what it's going to look like in the end, I don't believe that what they have and stuff now in the Senate and in the House is going to stay the same. And I don't believe that President Trump or 45 will have a bill on his desk by Christmas Day.
Oh, I totally agree to that. I totally agree to that.
Too much stuff going on.
Yeah, because one of the things that's going on right now, and we was discussing that earlier, is the fact that you have the budget that's coming up, which would be effective December 8th.
Yeah.
So that's a possible government shutdown.
Absolutely. And you having 45 to come forth and say, well, it's okay to have a government shutdown. Maybe it's going to be good for me if we do have a government shutdown. And I guess I got to believe what the gentleman and stuff in the morning show on MSNBC says, that our president is in the early stages of dementia.
Yeah, he watched too much TV.
And he's doing too much Twittering. There was I don't know if any of our audience know, but President Obama is taking a worldwide tour, and he is off in one of the countries and stuff over there. And he brought up the fact and everything that when you're getting out there, that his Twitter account has almost 100 million people who are following him, and that there are other people out there who are twittering and everything that don't have nowhere near the amount of people that follows him. And he was kind of making a connotation about our president and stuff, who only has 43 million followers and stuff with his Twitter, but President Obama has 100 million followers and stuff who on his Twitter account. So, and then he also brought the fact up that when you are out there and other people out there, our common citizens or whatever, when you're getting out there twittering, don't just put something out there in Twitter. Think about what you're doing before you put it out there, because it can hurt a lot of people. As we can see with the president and stuff, he's twittering all this old mess out there, and it's hurting a lot of people.
Well, I mean, I don't think he really care, and that's just the bottom line. But his Twitter account is what it is, and you have to take it with a grain of salt, because I don't think he's, quite there yet as far as understanding the power of his office. And we saw all the flack that he got over there in Britain. When he twittered those false pictures of the Muslims, videos. So, I don't know what to say about that, because I think that you just have to take them with a grain of salt, because the word is even people in the White House know that he's not stable. So 45 is 45. We have to move on. But the one thing they are moving on it is Flynn.
Oh, man.
That is something.
Mike Flynn. We spoke about him last week and stuff.
What did he say?
Yeah.
Lock her up.
Yeah.
Lock her up. What?
And now, as he walked the gauntlet into the federal court to plead guilty, on lying to the FBI, the crowd was out there repeating his own words: "Lock him up, lock him up." And it is ironic and stuff that this is going on, because if you notice and stuff, things have been Robert Mueller, who is doing this thing with this Russian investigation and stuff in our election. He is quietly and stuff becoming a very, very powerful person and stuff out there, almost as powerful as our president is, and his investigation and stuff of what is going on. And he has created a lot of problems and stuff here for our president. And you're hearing now and stuff through the news media and everything that back in May and April and June and stuff, that he was pressuring Senate committee leaders and stuff to end this Russian investigation. And most of these senators and these representatives and stuff in their respective committees and stuff did anything about it. They never said anything about it. But now they're looking at it that he is obstructing justice, because he had tried to stop them from doing this Russian investigation. And now his one of his main parts and stuff of his election and stuff and everything, they've already got Paul Manafort, they've got Mike Flynn, and I believe that Mike probably gave it up because he wants to save his son, because his son is deeply involved in this mess himself. So there's a lot of things going on around there, and they're nipping at President Trump's feet, and they're coming at him real strong, because the dominoes around him are falling down. And I don't want to say it, but it looks like his son-in-law may be the next thing to fall here, just a little bit, because he's deeply involved in this whole thing also. Yeah. And once it starts getting to his family circle and everything, it's going to create some real havoc and stuff there for Donald Trump. And,
I think Jared, his son-in-law, 45 son-in-law, thought he was a Secretary of State. He's going all over the world doing deals, but it wasn't deals for the American people. It was deals for the Trump family.
Absolutely.
And now, and one reason, in my opinion, the reason why the State Department is not running as well as it is because Rex Tillerson felt kind of taken back.
Well, Rex is he's a person, he's a character himself. I think that in our president's zeal to put people in charge who were like him, millionaires and billionaires who dealt with these two corporations, when you start dealing in politics, it is totally different than running a business. He was the CEO of Exxon, and he ran a very powerful business and stuff out there with Exxon. But when you start coming into politics, it's a whole different animal. And right now, he, in the last 4 or 5 months and stuff, he and President Trump have been very combative. And so now I guess Trump is going to try to ease him out. He's already talking about taking the CIA director, Mike Pompeo, who used to be in the House of Representatives. He was a representative in the House, and now this guy that moved from the representative to the House to the CIA director, and now he's going to move into being the Secretary of State. And before then, about 3 or 4 months ago, we heard that the UN ambassador for the United States was the person who was going to be maybe moving into that spot, but we find out now that it's Mike Pompeo who's going to do that, and now he's going to take another one of his Republican friends and stuff who he has befriended and stuff over this long series here from the Senate. Tom Cotton from Arkansas, who's a senator.
Wait a minute. Let me ask you this. You have 3 people that went to reputable colleges, very highly educated, law degrees. What's his name? Pompeo or whatever.
Mike Pompeo.
CIA director. Then you have the guy that's running the budget. Can't think of his name, but he went to Georgetown Law School. Then you got Tom Collins, went to Harvard. And all 3 of them, in my opinion, and I don't like calling people names, but they are whack jobs. Because that Pompeo, he's the one that put up all this mess against Secretary Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
And couldn't find out, wasn't nothing found. Mm-hmm. Spent all that money for that and had her sit there and talk about it for 11 hours or whatever it was. I sat there and listened to all of it. And I'm saying to myself, what kind of agenda do these people have? What are they trying to do? Because you got this one guy, he want to cut everything. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Then you have Cotton. I mean, he went totally against the president on the Iran thing. He had a letter written about it, and trying to go against it. And so they constantly seem like they're going against the grain as far as making America the best that we can be, in my opinion.
Well, I think that what has happened is that over the period of time that Trump has been the president, that he has gathered friends out there who he feels will help him. And one of those people, both of them are Mike Pompeo, and he knows what he's been doing, and he has a few friends and stuff who are behind him, and Tom Cotton and stuff, who he's not as high as Ted Cruz and the other senator and stuff from Florida, but they have become friends and stuff with him. And I think that Trump thinks that he can control them in a way that he can't control anyone else. And I think that that's what he's looking for in his leaders and stuff, and his cabinet people that he can control. He couldn't control Rex Tillerson, so he was gone. He couldn't control his FBI director, Comey. He got rid of him. So it looks like anybody that he can't control, he's going to get rid of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, we thought the chief of staff and everything, Kelly, would be the one who was going to be able to do something about controlling him and everything. But as we can see and stuff through 2 or 3 months ago and stuff with this thing with Sergeant Johnson being killed and everything, that Mike Kelly and stuff, the chief of staff, he's a person that Trump can control too, because he came out and said, that's not his job to go over there and control Trump and what he does. So if he can't control you, then it's too bad. And you can see that control and stuff is there. He's controlling them. You look at these White House briefings and everything. You have this Huckabee woman who stands up there and knowing that she's lying and says it right there in front of the media. It's okay for him to do whatever he wants to do.
Hey, she represents her Southern Christian heritage, doesn't she? Real well.
Very well.
Real well.
Yes.
You know,
she follows the lead. She's following the lead no matter what.
Yeah. It must be God because, you know, he's the leader. So therefore, I got to do what he says. Forget about what's right and what's wrong.
Absolutely. So getting on here, Ted, with this agenda, this is just I'm hoping that some of our listeners out there will understand that some of the things that we're talking about may not affect them directly and stuff as far as their pocketbooks and everything.
Oh,
but indirectly, these things will affect your pocketbook.
But talking about pocketbooks, let me talk about my man Warren Buffett.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh my goodness, man! I'm gonna tell you, this dude. I mean, he has got to be the slickest cat on the universe besides the Amazon CEO,
Jeff Bezos.
I'm telling you, Jeff Bezos. Warren Buffett, man, bought 700 million common shares of Bank of America stock at a discount rate of $7.14 a share. That cost him roughly $5 billion. Okay, he did this in June. In less than 6 months, right around 6 months, he made a profit of $12 billion with a B. $12 billion. That is unbelievable. I mean, I remember, man, about 25 years ago, about 25 years ago, he had made the largest, now this was at this time, the largest deal in the stock market in one day. You know how much it was for? $400 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now look at the difference. That was 25 years ago. 400. This man in 6 months made $12 billion. And it's still going up because soon as he bought it, people start trickling their money into Bank of America. Bank of America stock went from, 10 years ago, it was $3 a share. Then it went up to $13 to $14. It's been at 14 for the longest, 14, 17, up and down. And then now it's up to $27 a share. He bought it at $7.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. And, money makes money. You buying all those shares, you got it in there, people following him, they're investing into it. So his is going to go up. And so Bank of America might take off to be in $35, $40 a share. That man going to make another $10 billion. He might end up making about $20 billion off that deal.
If he keeps the shares. He may sell them.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
He may take those shares and turn around and sell them and put his $12 billion in his company's pockets.
There you go.
Yeah. And that goes back to what I was saying and stuff about this tax cut thing and stuff. We have to realize that when these things and stuff happen, you have to take advantage of the situation that is presented to you. And Warren Buffett, as you were saying, is a person and stuff that takes advantage of the situation that is put in front of him. And he realizes what he needs to do it. And because he has so much money, he can wield that power. So how do we, as a community, as an urban community and stuff, take that same theory that he has and put money and stuff into their pockets?
I'm going to tell you what we do. And it's one of the words that I have for today. Collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
because collaboration is the key. And that word means work jointly on activities, especially to produce or create something.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot collaborate without people. It's about people. People have to collaborate. And it's reaching across boundaries. I might not agree with that organization, but their cause, I believe in their cause. I believe in their bottom line, what they're trying to do. They might not be doing it the way you like to do it, but that's where leadership comes in. Collaboration. When you collaborate, you have to come in and get more involved. It's not cooperation, it's collaboration, because there's a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
And that leadership, when people come in and they come together and they say, hey, let's have some of the same goals, because basically our whole purpose is the same thing, really. It's to better our community and better the inner city, to better what's going on in this country as far as that. And so a lot of people, all these organizations, man, they need to collaborate with each other. They need to really get together. Just like, I heard Dick Gregory say the other day, and, he's gone and passed, but I was looking at a video, and it's the same thing what we've been talking about. He said, hey, young people, what they need to do is they need to start businesses. They need to start organizing. They need to start doing corporations. And you get 5, 10 people and start a corporation, open up a business
Mm-hmm.
where you can hire people,
Mm-hmm.
And invest. And that's what you got to do, because right now we're talking these people that's getting these college degrees and coming out of college. What's going on with that? I mean,
Absolutely.
they got all these loans and what have you, and you're trying to find a job.
Absolutely. And then it goes back to that word that you were saying, collaboration. They have to find people who have like ideas and stuff. These seniors and stuff now who are getting ready to come out of school, they're already about ready to finish up their first semester in college, and they got one more semester to go, and they're going to walk down that aisle with their cap and gowns. They're going to be pomp and circumstance. But the future that they're looking into is not very bright. So they're going to have to be able to come forth and do things like Warren Buffett has done. You're going to have to reach across that. Warren Buffett may not like Bank of America and what they're doing, but he understands that their stock and everything was cheap and that he could buy it. And as soon as it starts going up, he can turn around and sell it, and he's going to make a lot of money. And we have to use those same philosophies. We may not like that person over there and what they're doing, but if they can put money into your pockets and stuff so your family can live, then that's what you have to do. Because Ted, as you and I both know, the jobs that we had when we were coming up, they are no longer there.
Yeah, no longer there.
Yeah, no longer there. So they're going to have to create their own economy. And I'm hoping that doing all their studying and they're working hard and they're going in debt and having these college loans or whatever, they're all going to come due the day they walk across that aisle and get that diploma and they walk out there into the world. Those things are going to come down upon them, and they have to be ready to get out there and start doing something to put money in their pockets so they can take care of their families that they're getting ready to have, that they're going to be able to live okay, and that degree that they have just walked out of there is not going to go for naught, because I would hate to see any of them out there working in McDonald's, Wendy's, Burger King, or whatever, so because they can't find a job in this economy.
Yeah, and the sad part about it, and this is, I don't particularly like to bring up negative things, but the person that they claim, we don't know for certain, that in Seminole Heights here in Tampa area, they had caught the guy, but he's a college graduate, man. Guess where he was working? McDonald's. College graduate working at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's, don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, what was his degree in? What, you trying to tell me that you couldn't talk to some people or try to go in and do something or collaborate with other people to say, hey, I'm trying to do better for myself. I have a college degree. I mean, that right there is that opens doors for you. It might not be a lot of doors, but it still opens doors for you.
Mm-hmm.
And to go work at McDonald's, fine, but then you always looking for something better. You ain't got to stay there for no 6 months or 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're finding out that we are telling everyone this because they're finishing up their next to the last semester and stuff with college. This is the time that you guys need to be out there trying to find something and stuff for you, so you don't come up at the last minute as soon as you walk across the aisle and then say, oh, what should I do? You
Right.
better start thinking about that now. Matter of fact, you should have been thinking about that back in September when you first entered your last year of college.
Quite as it kept, they should have started when they're sophomores and find out and do internships.
Absolutely.
Even if it's if you're not getting paid for it.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, some kind of way work nights and then do internships during the day or something to learn your craft or whatever field you're in.
Absolutely.
And work for that company because that's what you want to do and for your life experience, you know, because you enjoy whatever your major is in. So
yeah. And I wanted to tell you and our audience and stuff, we just had a young lady and stuff on our program a couple of months ago, Shannon Waller. Well, I just talked to Shannon and stuff last week, and she is a senior in high school and everything, and she's already got her game plan and stuff set up for her getting off to college, and also what she's going to do after that. You know, her mom works in the insurance industry. Shannon says come April she's going to go out, and because she works with her mom as an intern inside her mom's insurance office and stuff there, because her mom is way up there in the her firm. She's one of the regional managers and stuff there, but she's learned from her mother about the insurance industry. So she's going to go and get her insurance broker's license and start doing some internship and stuff there during the summer to make her some extra money and stuff. So she's already got her a career lined up. She's not going to work in the insurance industry and stuff, but she's using it to get ahead, to start paying for her college education and stuff and everything. And by her going into there and dealing in and getting her license and stuff, the insurance, she's doing her internship, she's going to meet people that she can collaborate with. So once she gets out of college and everything, she's going to already have that network and everything already built up. And
absolutely.
Planning for herself. So like you said, your sophomore year, she's already doing it, and she's just a senior in high school.
There you go. There you go. And right there, she's way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of the game.
Way ahead of the game. Now, you mentioned healthcare.
That's why we had her on. Healthcare.
You mentioned healthcare. Oh, my goodness. There's a lot of stuff going on in that. Your unfunded chips. And then, of course, they touch this whole thing of not people paying mandatory payments by not having insurance. Now, I'm thinking they're still negotiating that. That hasn't
passed.
Hasn't passed.
Right. And what Ted is talking about and stuff is that every year when you file taxes and stuff, if you aren't covered under healthcare, there's a mandatory penalty and stuff that the IRS assess you on your taxes, which is $600. And that $600 was assessed to people who didn't feel the need to get health insurance and stuff to help pay for the Affordable Health Care Act, which, if you look at it, $600 is not a lot of money. But when you put it into a huge coffer and stuff out there, you got a lot of money to fund Medicare, Medicaid, and CHIPS, Children Insurance Health Program. So I was all for it to doing that because it helps out. But other people and stuff, Republicans especially, are looking at that as a penalty and everything for people who don't want health coverage because they have a right not to have health coverage. Well, with them enacting this tax cut thing and everything, that part of that thing is taking away that penalty and stuff there, which is going to hurt the Affordable Care Act.
And 45, that's the whole purpose, to hurt,
absolutely,
to bring it down.
Right. They want to hurt. They want to hurt everything else and send the deficit up just so they can have another tax cut. And I want people to understand that when you start doing things and stuff and you having this tax cut and you already know that deficit is going to go up, when that deficit goes up, if they enact this stuff and that deficit goes up, even though there's other things that's going to hurt you, when it goes up, a year or so from now, those Republicans are going to come back and say the deficit is too high. Who's going to pay for that?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come after your health care. They're going to come after your Social Security. They're going to come after your Medicare, and they're going to come after a whole lot of other things and stuff.
Medicaid.
So reduce the Medicaid, and so they can reduce that debt that they already created, because it seems like it's always a pattern. Republicans get into office as the president, they have a tax cut. Tax cut means the debt goes up. They did it when Reagan came in.
Mm-hmm.
They did it when H.W. Bush came in.
Mm-hmm.
Clinton came in, cleaned up the national debt, brought it all the way down to zero, left Bush with a surplus of $300 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Bush came in and enacted a tax cut, and the debt went back up to over $1 trillion.
Yep.
Obama comes in, they got to bring that debt down. So they went and they started cutting back on programs and all this other stuff and everything. You can't do this, you can't do that. And they're bringing he brought that debt down within a reasonable range of about $300 billion and everything. And now Trump comes in office, let's have a tax cut and increase that debt again. Roller coaster. It's crazy, Ted. I mean, it's crazy. And the same people who were hollering to reduce the debt now are the ones who were standing up there. Old Mike Mulvaney, the budget guy for Trump, who was a tax cut, was telling Obama the debt was too high. They were fighting him to reduce that national debt and everything. And now they got it down. Now he comes back on and said, all right, Mike, you sending this debt up with this tax cut. Oh, it's all right. We can do this. It's okay to have a debt, to give a tax cut out, because it's going to stimulate the economy. Voodoo economics is what works.
Excuse me.
I hope you're okay there.
I'm all right. But that's the guy that I was trying to think of, Mike Mulvaney or whatever his name is.
Mulvaney, Mike Mulvaney. He's another one of those.
The one from Georgetown, and
he's he's something else.
He's a piece of work, man. He is a piece of work. Piece of work. I mean, that's cold. He's cold-blooded.
Yeah. So anyway, getting back to what we're talking about there's a lot of stuff going on out there, and that we have to deal with here. And it looks like that tax cut and stuff is going to hurt at 47% of the economy that Romney was talking about in 2012. Yes, I am.
Oh, yeah, the safety
47.
net. The safety net will be cut, and you said 47%. What it's going to do is going to raise it up to 50-something%, and people that's going to be trying to get all kinds of services. However, this is what they're dependent on. That those people that do not want to work is going to basically get these minimum jobs, and they're going to have to work. Those people that, when I say that, do not want to work, and there are people that can't work. So that's what they're going to pick and choose in every one of these states. That's why they always talk about state rights. So they're going to be able to give those people they want to Medicaid, food stamps, and that type of thing. But you walk in there and you got one child and you don't have daycare because they don't provide that for you. You got 1 or 2 or 3 kids. Your kids are going to be latchkey. Who's going to take care of those kids? And you know what happens to kids when they by themselves and mama's out working.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
they don't have after school care. They don't have centers any kind of recreational centers where they can be in safe places.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a game, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole purpose.
And part of the tax cut and stuff affecting education. Education is budget is being cut. They've cut all those budgets and stuff down there for this tax cut thing.
Yeah.
Every one of them have not been that access not avoided any of those safety net programs and stuff out there. They've cut them all.
Man, they cut HUD $6 billion.
Absolutely.
They cut HUD $6 billion. Can you imagine?
Yeah. And where is that money going to come from? It's going to come from Section 8.
Yeah.
And those Section 8 grants and stuff out there so people can have rent so they can pay to live in a home. All those things are going to be cut.
Yeah, and we already know is that guy in New York who's running for mayor saying the rent is too damn high. We already know.
The rent's too high.
The rent is too damn high because the fact is that nowadays, man, you'd be lucky if you get a 2-bedroom for $1,200 a month.
Absolutely.
And that's on the low scale. No, don't live in Chicago, LA, or New York. You talking 2,000.
It's a mess out there, Mr. Harvey. It's a mess out there. I'm telling you, there is so much stuff out there that's going to start affecting us.
One of the things that's going to really affect us, and the people don't realize is that this redistricting, gerrymandering, that thing right there is going to be really harmful to us because they've been doing this stuff like in every state, voter suppression, redistricting, gerrymandering, and keeping people from voting to put the right people in so that all of these catastrophic things don't happen. Now, it's to my understanding that a couple of people that we know is trying to push back on that. And one of them is President Obama, and the other one is Holder, our former district attorney
general.
Attorney General.
Yeah, he and President Obama have decided that the worst thing that could happen to the democratic process in this country is redistricting, because in 2010, during Obama's presidency, the first election after he was elected, a lot of Republicans won those state houses around the country. They won the governorship. They took over the legislative branches and stuff of the government. And what they did was they enacted a redistricting process that divided these districts up and everything in their favor. It was a very unique process and everything, and they had some very bright people and stuff out there who helped them to do this, to where they took these districts and stuff and everything, and they grabbed all the Republicans and stuff, districts and stuff, and they put the Republican districts and stuff and increased them, and they took the Democratic districts and everything, and they increased those, the amount of people inside the Democratic strongholds or whatever, and they made them into one district. So where they took the Republicans and stuff and made them a smaller group and everything, but they took all the other Democratic voters and stuff and put them in their pockets. So they knew that any one of those Republican districts and stuff around the Democratic districts was going to ensure them a power in the House of Representatives, which is a big thing and stuff now, because they took over the House and stuff first, and then because of that and everything, the Senate and stuff, it came back, and the Republicans grabbed power there, but not as much power as the House had done because of that redistricting effort. So our president now, since he's gotten out of office, and the past U.S. Attorney General and stuff, Eric Holder, even though Eric Holder is in private practice and everything now, he and Obama are spearheading a redistricting process and everything that goes into each one of those states and they file lawsuits and stuff against these redistricting things that have hurt the election, which we saw in Virginia at the beginning of November when they had their governor's race and stuff there. The Democrats and stuff had almost 2 to 3 million votes more than the Republicans did and everything, but because of redistricting and everything, the Republicans still maintain control of their House of Delegates, which is like the House of Representatives. And you can't gain power and stuff when you get more votes. You look at Hillary Clinton; she had more votes than Trump did, but because of some of those redistricting things that were going on, Trump won the election, even though he is saying that he had more votes, and he's telling a big lie that he did get more votes, and he brought forth a commission to prove that he got more votes, but all that was just a smokescreen for his own purposes, his demented purposes or whatever. But anyway, with this redistricting thing, we want our audience and stuff to know that they need to help President Obama and Eric Holder and stuff in this redistricting effort. They are sending out emails and everything, asking for people to donate money and everything and stuff to that. Well, I get a lot of emails and stuff all the time from some of these progressive groups and everything, but if I ever wanted to know they need any money, it would be to our past U.S. attorney and Obama's efforts and stuff in that redistricting thing, because I don't care how much money you give to those other progressive groups, if you still are being denied equal representation, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and the thing along with that, voter suppression.
Absolutely.
They're purging a lot of these voters for no reason whatsoever. So those are the things that's important. And then also those people that are running, supporting those people that's running from the opposing Republican Party. I mean, for those people because really right now the Republican Party runs the whole country, in all the state houses, everywhere. I mean, what they have, like 34, 36, I don't know how many governors they got across the country.
Well, they just lost one. They just lost one and stuff here in Virginia. And we're hoping that they can get them state houses and stuff back in some of them other states and stuff there.
People have to get engaged, bro. They have to get engaged because this is a warfare. This right here is a warfare. If you want to have decent civil rights, decent a lifestyle where you feel free. But right now, they have gotten a lot of people just under an umbrella and just constantly. It's not good. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah. And it's not a good feeling. You're not getting equal representation for your vote, like you were speaking about earlier. What did you say? Voter
depression.
Participation or something.
Yeah. I mean, these people got to get engaged. Hey, we're gonna run into a couple of segments that like things that we usually talk about, and a couple of things we're gonna save for the end, which is holiday spending, and then over here and over there. But two of the things that two of my favorites is our segment is holistic health, and then the other one is, of course, the big connection, believe in God connection. Now, what I have for holistic health, I have some things here that a lot of people might be aware of and they might not be, but I'm just going to read it off right quick. Some of the things that you should not be eating, especially during the holidays. Now, a lot of people like these sugary coffee drinks. That's a bad thing. That's something that you shouldn't do. Now, canned soup. I love my canned soup, tomato soup and chicken soup. However, it's high in sodium. Sodium is not good for you. Processed meat. Now, here's something that I really love. Ice cream. Oh my goodness. You're not supposed to eat ice cream, man. You shouldn't be eating that. Frozen. Now, this is something that I did not know. Frozen French fries. frozen French fries. Unbelievable. You know, so, and then they have here sugar sweet. I can't even read my writing. I apologize for that. But it's just, oh yeah, cereal. I mean, I stopped eating cereal a long time ago. I might eat a bowl of cereal, Cheerios or Wheaties or something every blue moon, but I stopped eating that years ago because that stuff ain't nothing but sugar. It's not good for you, no healthy. Now, on the positive side, and I'm just gonna name a few. Lemons. You should be, doing some kind of lemon and water or lemons all the time. Lemons is really a cleanser. And broccoli, dark chocolate. You like sweets? Eat some dark chocolate. Salmon, walnuts, garlic, and red potatoes. Now that's something that I wasn't aware of. Red potatoes is better than the white potatoes. So that's my tidbit on holistic living right now. So you got anything in on that?
Oh no, I'm writing down my word for the day. But
okay.
One of the things and stuff that is prevalent and stuff there, Ted, from what you were saying about holistic health and about eating things and stuff, that is the fact that some of those things that you were talking about deals and goes back to the root.
Mm-hmm.
And even back in the olden days and stuff, when our foreparents and our great grandparents and stuff were living and thriving and stuff out there, they went back to the root. They go into the earth and stuff and they dig up the root out of the earth there. And the potatoes and stuff is another thing that comes out of the ground. It's a root.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you want to find some healthy things, find things that are roots. You look at carrots and stuff, they come out of the ground. They grow into the ground. They come out, you pull them up, they come out of the ground. The potatoes, they come out of the ground. Peanuts, they come out of the ground. So go back to those roots and you should be okay.
Yep, absolutely. And that's the whole key, because right now everybody wants things fast and processed and, drinking all that soda and stuff, I mean, none of us are perfect because, you're going to fall in, you want something quick, you might run to the store and get something, or you like that coffee in the morning. But, you can cut back at least try to cut back on that, processed food and sugary drinks and that kind of thing, because, it's not going to pan well for you in the long run. You won't be able to do any kind of exercises or walk around and what have you. So another one is our scripture.
Mm-hmm.
I chose James 4:8, and this is part A. It says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Now, what does that mean? That means that, a lot of people, there's so many people out there now, it is just unbelievable, that do not even believe in a God. They do not believe there is a God, there's not a heaven, there's not a hell, all of that kind of stuff. Well, that's fine. But for those people that are in search of a God, God is a spirit. So, and the Bible tells us those that believe in God, you worship him in spirit and in truth. And the thing about it is that if you try to draw near to him, that means when you try to get to know him in your spirit, and, if you meditate for peace, meditate and ask God, reveal himself to you, and he will reveal himself. He said, prove me. So prove him. So, and then one of the things is in 2 Chronicles 15:2, this is part B, it says, if you seek him, he will be found by you. But if you forsake him, he will forsake you. So in other words, if you ain't looking for God, God just gonna you just a lost soul out there, so to speak. That's a person that's out there and you just living your life. But then you wonder why everything is not as peaceful as you would like. I'm not talking about prosperity here. I'm talking about peaceful. having a wonderful life, having an enjoyable life, having a happy life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a multimillionaire, billionaire to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to be one of those. That'd be nice. But the point is that you can live a everyday life and be as happy as all get out. And the way you do that is that you meditate in prayer and know God. That's why he says, put him first. You put him first, then you'll be fine.
And I have one for John 16:33.
Mm-hmm.
These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might find peace.
There you go. There you
Find
go.
that peace. And I've noticed that people who have God and stuff on their side, and one of the people that I really look at and I admire and stuff for doing it as a role model is our president, our past president, President
Yep.
Obama. He's always been in a place where there's peace. And with that peace and everything comes a big assurance and stuff from other people.
But he's a better man than me, bro, because I would have been cussing out some people.
He is a better man, but he has found peace and stuff in what he does. And in that peace and stuff, he has brought a lot of people into his corner who are behind him, who follow him, as you can see.
You couldn't ask for a better person.
Absolutely. If you can see on his Twitter account, he got almost 50 million more people than 45 does, because he brings something to people that they cannot find, and that's a peace, and that's an assurance and stuff in what he does and how he has modeled his life and stuff behind. And because he has that, he's going to be doing well. You're going to do things positive. Now, he may not have as much money as 45 has, but he is okay and stuff with that. And he is still, even though he has left office, he's still giving back. Right now, he's giving back. He's been in office about a year, and he's out there now still working. He's still doing positive things out there in the country. And,
absolutely.
And no matter what they're trying to do and everything and stuff to him and to his children, as you can see, they have his daughter Malia out there, trying to bring her out into the spotlight because she's trying to be a young lady. What's wrong with being a young lady? You in college, you can have friends, you can have boyfriends and whatever, but there's nothing wrong with that. But they're trying to make it an ugly thing, and it's not that way. So anyway, you seek him, you're going to find peace and find that peace within yourself. And if you find that peace, you're going to be able to think clearly. You're going to be able to respond and stuff in a positive manner to anything that goes on, whether it's death, whether it's life, whether it's a bad sickness or whatever. You find that peace in him. So, and let's get back to one of the things that you missed, and over here and over there, you were saying something on the agenda about the Sahara Africa. I just
want to talk about it just a little bit, because next week I want to really get into it.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that I was listening to one of the local radio stations the other day, and they had this Dr. Ayani, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a doctor from the continent of Africa, and I think he was from Nigeria, and if I'm not mistaken. But he has a book out called Rescue Thyself. Change in Sahara Africa must come from within. And he went about talking about how the situation is over in the continent of Africa, and how each one of those countries have been privileged. I mean, they've been raped. They've been taken over by these so-called leaders, and any money that comes in, they control that money, and they're not giving it to the people. They're not distributing the people, and there are so many poor people that's out there. And so he decided that he started an organization. Now, he did most of his practice right here in the United States, but of course he went back and forth as well. But he started an organization called Pan-African Children Advocacy Watch. And I was thoroughly impressed with him, the what he was saying, because the fact is that he realizes that, hey, it's not going to come from all of these different countries. You know, you got China in there, you got the French in there, you got United States on the continent. You got all these countries that's just raping the country. I mean, just taking everything that they can take out because there's so many resources there. You know, you got gold, you got diamonds, you got oil, you got all these different resources. You have all kinds of wood that's there, you know, different kinds of trees, mahogany wood. And so these people come in there and they buy off these governors, you know, these presidents, and give them a lot of money. And then they just let them come in there and take it instead of using those resources and building your own plants and factories and companies and what have you. But you come in and let people come in and take your resources, take it back, and then they make the products and make the money. What is going on? So anyway, I'm
we'll
going to talk a little bit more about that, you know, in detail next week. But now I think that the one thing that's going on right now is what is happening to the Caribbean islands, man.
Oh man, after that hurricane that came through there, you have Puerto Rico. It still have most of their country and stuff is without electricity. Well, the San Juan mayor of San Juan and stuff, she's a very, very, very feisty young lady, and she is still fighting and trying to get her country the monies and stuff that they need to rebuild themselves. She is asking now, when she's got some people in Congress to commit to saying that they need somewhere in upward figures of $200 billion to help rebuild Puerto Rico. And part of that $200 billion comes in the form of relieving that $20 billion debt that they are having a difficult time trying to pay back. And if she gets her wishes and they do come up with the $200 billion to help her to get out of the country, to get out of that, yes, it's going to do a lot for them. But she's also got a lot of internal things going on there and stuff, as far as people and stuff who are trying to rip off the country again, just like they're doing in Africa or whatever. You have all that corrupt people and stuff who are out there who are looking to line their own pockets and everything. And what
kind of resources do Puerto Rico have? Do they have, besides tourism? I know that was one of their big things.
Tourism is it, and she was saying that their tourism is starting to come back in some parts of the country, but when the sun goes down, you know, you don't have any electricity, or your power grid and everything is so screwed up that you can't have anything. But there are people who are coming in to help their country and stuff and everything, but the main source of their income is tourism. Having people come there and visit their island and stuff. They have some beautiful resort areas and stuff there that they have, but they can't do anything and stuff about it because a lot of these resort areas and stuff are out there in the outlying areas and stuff, and they don't have electricity and stuff to keep themselves going. So that tourism business and everything puts money and stuff into their population's pockets. Because when you start talking about tourism, you're talking about having restaurants, people come buy food. You're talking about these big conglomerates, hotels and resorts and everything that are out there who employ a lot of people to come out to maintain what's going on. You got your maintenance people, you got your people who clean the rooms, you got the people who cleaning up the hotel, you got people who are standing out there waiting until the tourists drive up in their cars and they're parking cars and everything and stuff for them. And they have all kind of other amenities around there. They have these tour things where they go and they have a part of the island where the water is real clear, and you can sit out there and do scuba diving and everything and look down the water. All those things and stuff put money into the pockets and stuff of the people there in that country. Other than that, they grow some of their stuff, but a lot of their things and stuff comes from imported from ships and stuff and everything. And then you're looking at the fact that they have their Jones Act that's going on. And a lot of people don't understand what that Jones Act is, but it deals in the maritime portion and stuff of what's going on. And what the Jones Act is and stuff is that they no other ships can come into that port and stuff other than ships from the United States. But they're means of importing and stuff comes from other countries and stuff also. And if those other countries' ships can't come into their ports and unload their products and stuff, then they're sitting there waiting until the U.S. decide that they want to bring their ships there to bring their products and stuff to them, which is creating a big habit. And that Jones Act was completely eliminated there for the Texas area, because the Port of Texas, there, Port Arthur and all those other ports and stuff there who brought big ships in, when they had the hurricane to come through there, President 45, he eliminated their Jones Act so other ships from other countries can come into their port and bring goods and services and stuff to the people there in the Houston area and the affected areas and stuff around Houston from the hurricane that came through there.
You know, this seems like this is a trend, though, Ed. I mean, think about this. Okay, now what you just said, and that was the same thing that was going on in Haiti.
Mhm.
They wouldn't allow other countries to come in there
Mhm.
and help.
Yep, and help. Yeah.
So, you know, they had soldiers stopping people from helping people. It's
Mhm.
just like, I don't know if you heard this story in Miami. I mean, this is sort of kind of off the subject to a certain degree, but it's the same scenario. There were a bunch of people doing in certain areas that had fixed a bunch of food and went to a park to try to help some homeless people and feed them to make sure they had a good meal on Thanksgiving Day, and the police ran them out. They had to shut it down. They were stranded food, help homeless people eat a good meal.
Mhm.
What is going on with what's going on? I mean, I
Yes.
don't quite understand what's going on, man. You know, there are people that's out there willing to help and give their money and their time. The same thing with other countries that's trying to bring in and help people, and the United States is stopping these people.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're using different laws and different legislative issues and stuff and everything to stop doing that. And they also using the fact that when they're coming in there and they're feeding these people and stuff and everything, that well, if we can't do this because we're going to be sued by some person and stuff if somebody gets hurt or somebody gets sick or we give them their food or whatever and they get sick from it, then they're going to be able to have a lawsuit and stuff against you. And also the fact is that there are another one of our Commonwealth countries and stuff and everything is the U.S. Virgin Islands. Nobody is talking about them at all, and
Not at all.
they were just as devastated as Puerto Rico was. And we're not hearing anything about them. We're hearing about Puerto Rico because you have the mayor and stuff from San Juan who has become very, very voicious and stuff. But U.S. Virgin Islands is just as bad of a shape as Puerto Rico and stuff is, and we're not hearing not one word about them at all. And so I don't know if they're getting help or not. I don't know what's going
Well,
on.
I think the Virgin Islands, you know, the Caribbean islands, a lot of those people, you know, because it's a lot of Caribbean people here in Florida, obviously, and they have a lot of connections, and you know, and they sort of kind of know how to wade through the mess,
Hmm.
and you don't hear a lot about it because they're getting the support, but not totally, but they know how to make do, and then they're being patient with the money and not causing a big ruckus or anything like that. And so I'm concerned about it, but you don't hear anything about it. I'm looking up the news, and you don't really see a lot of stuff about the Caribbeans and how those people are doing there. We don't even know how many death tolls there were, and they was devastated. We don't know, just like Houston, we don't know what's going on in Houston still.
You know, like Puerto Rico, they don't know what the death toll is there.
They say there's 58 to 1,100, 1,200 people.
Oh man, there's probably a lot more than that who passed away because of that. But they're hiding those things. And why they're hiding it, I don't have no idea. I don't understand why you want to hide a death toll and stuff because you had a hurricane there. There's no rationale for doing that. And it doesn't make any sense at all. And you find the
Don't.
governor
It don't.
governor
It
of
don't.
Puerto Rico and stuff and everything is complicit in this whole thing. So it makes me think that maybe somebody is paying him to shut up. I don't know. Yes,
It's we live in a crazy situation. You know, we're looking for transparency, and what we do is get all kind of secret stuff that's going on. And then these people, these news people, the investigative reporters, that try to do things, and when they get news, then it has to be off the record, or it has to be, you know, you can't mention my name or how you got this information, and so they get information from other people. So we don't know. You know, it's hard. It's hard, man. You know, you got a few real serious investigative reporters, but they're not really doing. You know, the old people that used to do the investigative reporting, man. I mean, they used to get all in it and just tell people like it is. Now, you know, we just get little tidbits here and there, and we don't get the full story. We hear about it, and we might not hear about it for 6 months afterwards. So the immediate response is just ridiculous.
Absolutely. And hopefully we will continue to have our audience to come and listen to our show, and we were going to try to give them as much information as we can.
Right. And that's what we're trying to do. But like I said, you know, it's hard to find and thorough information as far as honest information, as far as that goes, you know, as people want in-depth information. But one of the things that one of our last subjects, we winding down here, is that we wanted to talk about the holiday spending. Well, like I said, I don't know about you, but I don't spend no money for the holidays. That's just me. I mean, I stopped doing that years ago, and you know, because you know it's too commercial for me. You know.
Well, it's reached that stage for us also, and I guess because we are older and stuff now, I guess we can do that, because I know that when I was younger, I always wanted to make sure that my children had plenty of toys and all those stuff and everything. So, but at that time, you know, I could afford to do that because I had a pretty good job that paid me very well. So I did not go into debt doing that because I had other alternatives. Stuff. We always had Christmas funds that we could pay into and everything into our savings account, go into the credit union, and have so much taken out of my check and everything every time I get paid to put into our Christmas fund. And at the end of the year, what the credit union and stuff would do was that they would maybe whatever you saved, they would put 25% more and stuff into that because you saved this money and everything. So that meant that you had a nice little big check there and everything to pay for your Christmas stuff and everything for the kids. So we never went into really big debt and stuff because of that. But I don't see people and stuff doing that and stuff now, because most people and stuff now, majority of them don't have a savings account anymore. So if any disaster and stuff happen, or they got to buy Christmas gift, they're going to have to use their credit cards or whatever to go in debt or to borrow money just so they can have a Christmas. And,
I used to use my quarterly commission check every year, you know, and you know I get, you know, a few hundred, couple thousand, whatever, and then you know. But now, you know, I mean, as I've gotten older, you know, and I've already told all my kids and everything, hey, we're gonna do just one pull. I'm buying one gift.
That's it.
Whoever name I pull, that's it.
That's it.
Because you know, you don't need to get in debt. You don't need to go overexpend and try to, you know, spend your whole check on Christmas, holidays, and all that kind of stuff. No, we got family, and we have a good meal, and we come together. Watch a little basketball, because that's the day basketball is all day, you know, and all that. I mean, so I'm happy, you know. And we say our prayers and read the scriptures and get, you know, we of course we buy, you know, my little grandkids, you know, toys and stuff like that. But unbelievable, man. You know, I mean, some people just go all out and hey, more power to them, you know, if that's what they want to do. But we recommend that you not do it.
Right. And don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself and your family by trying to make them happy in an occasion that only happens once a year.
1 day a week.
1 day a year.
I apologize. 1 day a year.
1 day a year that happens. And for 1 day, you're going to put yourself in total disaster for 12
3, 4, 6 months.
Yeah. So anyway, We're about at the end of our show here, Ted, and I want to make sure that our audience and stuff know that we're here. We're going to be here every Saturday, and we're looking to increase our time and stuff and have telecasts and stuff on maybe a Tuesday and Thursday and stuff during the week. And we're working on getting that done, and we're hoping that our audience and stuff is coming there to view us and they like what they're seeing on Saturday. I know I enjoy being here tremendously, and I look forward to it. And
Same here. Same here.
I'm looking forward to doing this again even more. So come out and see us, and
All right.
have a good afternoon, and we will
We'll
see you guys next week.
Next week.
Next week. Bye.